Hello all, this is Bill Nation again. I'm coming to you from Eglin Air Force Base, and this is our second video discussion board. I did my research. I looked for things that counselors got in trouble from here in Florida. Really couldn't find that much, so I did it from my home state of Tennessee. And I found 7 things in Tennessee that counselors were disciplined for in the last few years. The first thing was practicing without a license. The second one was sexual relationship with a client. Third was a poor standard of care, not providing the care that was necessary. The fourth one was inadequate fee schedules, charging some clients more than you would charge others instead of having a set rate scale, even though you are allowed to have a sliding scale for some of your clients who are not as wealthy as others or who do not have insurance. Another one was dual relationship issues between the counselor and clients. The sixth one was failure to tell the clients when they first signed up about the counseling rules, including the goals of counseling, the time limits, and some of the parameters that counseling may not be able to help them solve their problems, your goals and your limits. And the seventh one was a failure to report abuse, like child abuse, elder abuse, any type of abuse, spousal abuse. As I read through these complaints, I really wasn't that surprised. One thing that really stuck out to me the most is, how do you practice counseling without a license, especially if you are going to get paid? Unless people would just, hey, this guy, I think he might, have some pretty good ideas about how you can fix your problems. Maybe it's a pastor like myself, and, people just go to him and he puts a sign out that says, pastoral counseling, and you go in and get some counseling, but it's not true mental health. And you would definitely have a hard time if you're trying to get paid by insurance. I think it takes a lot of time to become a counselor, and a lot of people, also have these problems is because they just don't put into it what is required from it. That can also be a problem. And there are just some people who just aren't qualified to be counselors. They just really don't know how to help other people handle their problems. When it comes to self-care, I read an article by Kaylee Freeman, and she said health counselors need to take care of themselves. You need to have a break. You need to be able to distance yourself from your counseling. The best way to do this is to take a vacation every year. Give yourself, I don't know how much counselors take, at least maybe a 2 to 3 week vacation. You need to exercise, spiritual development. Maybe go see a counselor yourself. I can imagine talking to people all day long, hearing about their problems. It probably gets kind of depressing. I think sometimes a counselor may want to tell somebody to say, suck it up and get on with your life. There's a lot of other people who have worse problems than you, but as a counselor, you can't do that. But when you can't take care of yourself, you're no good to anybody else, and then that's where the impairment comes in. And your counselees, your clients, are not going to get the proper amount of care. It is very, very, very important for us to take care of ourselves. This is in an article by Kaylee Freeman. She stressed that. And also, according to the ACA Standards of Ethics or Ethical Standards, Section C talks about, counselors' personal care, taking care of themselves. And it says that, counselors should develop a self-care program. I know a counselor here in my local area, and actually she's my wife's counselor, but I've gone with her and I've got to know her very well over the years. I've helped her out with some of my sponsors and people in AA that she sent to me. And she takes at least 2 vacations a year, 2 to 3 weeks at a time, just to get away and to give herself a mental break. I guess one of the biggest questions after reading all this that came to mind for me is setting limits. How many hours a week is a counselor supposed to work? Or do you work the standard 40-hour a week? I imagine if you work in a government or community setting, you probably do. If you are in private practice, how many hours a week do you work? Um, I think it really depends, because I really don't know how much, private practice make. I've always worked for the government. You have a set schedule fee, and you go in at 8 in the morning, get off 5 o'clock at night. Private practice, how many counselees or how many clients are you supposed to see? Because you are self-employed. If you're not counseling anybody, you are not getting paid. Private practice, I would not work any more than 50 hours a week and limit the number of clients I can see. Thank you very much, and I have thoroughly enjoyed this class. Have a good evening or afternoon, depending where in the world you are located when you see this. Thank you again, and once again, this is Bill Nation coming to you from the office of the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter on Eglin Air Force Base. Go Air Force.